And I feel bad because we don't talk about NXT nearly enough on this show, but we're not, if we were on every day, maybe we would. But there's something brewing in NXT right now that we have to address. Is Shawn Michaels going to wrestle again? I mean, I know there was always this thing, Shawn Michaels not going to wrestle again, but is Shawn Michaels going to wrestle again? Because if you haven't been watching, and you should be, because NXT is like one of the funnest wrestling shows that you could possibly watch. It's fast-paced. Everybody has a character. Everybody has a reason for being there. Everybody's got a story. And it doesn't always go exactly the way you think it's going to go. They're always, that makes sense that would happen, but I didn't see it coming. So Eddy Thorpe, the arc that Eddy Thorpe has been on is absolutely fascinating. I can't wait to see where it goes this week, because it feels like we could get an Eddy Thorpe versus Shawn Michaels match in 2025. And I know this sounds crazy, but in terms of getting eyeballs on Eddy Thorpe and putting that guy in a good position, I couldn't imagine a better one. And in terms of getting eyeballs on NXT as the brand, I couldn't think of a better way to do that either. So here's how I got there. A couple weeks before Deadline, right? Deadline has the Iron Survivor Challenge. And the people that lost the qualifying matches in the Iron Survivor Challenge, Eddy Thorpe ended up losing his qualifier, but there was cheating involved, right? So Ava, the general manager, she goes up to everybody that lost their qualifying matches and says next week there's going to be a fatal four-way, last chance qualifier. So the last spot goes to the winner. The fifth spot goes to the winner of the fatal four-way of the four people that lost their qualifiers. And everybody's like, okay, great. And Eddy Thorpe's like, well, shouldn't I just get in because my guy cheated. It wasn't fair what happened to me. And she moves on to another thing, and she's trying to leave. And Eddy Thorpe, he goes, Ava, no, I'm not done, Ava. And she's like, Eddy, I'm over it. Eddy Thorpe grabs Ava by the wrist. And she goes, get your hands off of me, Eddy. Don't ever do that. And while she's reprimanding him, somebody else over here who's having an argument pushes into the door. The door knocks into Ava. Ava falls over. So Heartbreak Kid comes and he checks on Ava. And now people start going like, oh boy, Eddy Thorpe's going to have to fight The Rock. But there's no hint of The Rock coming in. But Shawn Michaels goes to check on Ava. He goes, what happened, Ava? And she goes, oh, there was a confusion. And Eddy Thorpe shows up, which, bro, like, you are not good at calling your shots. You need to get out of there. Let that settle without you. Hopefully they'll forget you existed. You come back next week, and maybe they won't remember it happened. But Eddy Thorpe gets involved right away, and Shawn Michaels shoves Eddy Thorpe, and he shoves him again, and he pushes him onto that loading dock garage door, the metal thing, and he grabs him by his shirt, and he's pushing him. Don't put your hands on her. Don't put your hand. And he's pushing him. He tells him to get out of here. And Eddy Thorpe, he goes from like, whoa, I just wanted to explain myself to, whoa, you're putting your hands on me. I'm angry now. And Shawn tells him to hit the bricks. And Eddy Thorpe walks away, but he's not happy. So Eddy Thorpe ends up going on to his fatal four-way. He ends up winning that fatal four-way to go on to Deadline. But at the end of that show, Eddy Thorpe gets jumped. And you're going, who jumped Eddy Thorpe? Some people are saying it was The Rock. Some people are saying it was Obafemi. I'm over here going like, how mad was Shawn Michaels really? But as it turns out, Eddy Thorpe goes to Ava. He goes, Ava, I got jumped. I was supposed to be in that match. Won it. Obafemi was in my spot. He's going to get a title match. I should get a title match. Ava's like, I feel bad you got jumped. We're still trying to figure out who jumped you. We don't know. We didn't install any security cameras whatsoever, so we don't know. But, okay, sign your name here. Okay, once you sign your name, it's ironclad. Eddy Thorpe signs his name. She goes, by the way, we're still going to try to find out who jumped you. And Eddy Thorpe's like, you don't need to. I did it. It was total fake. Which is brilliant, by the way, that Eddy Thorpe pretended to get jumped to get himself out of the match and then get a world title match anyway. I thought I loved that move on Eddy Thorpe's part. But then on NXT on Tuesday, we see the match happen, right? And it ends in a double pin where Trick has him down, but Eddy Thorpe's got his arm over his chest. All four shoulders are down. 1, 2, 3, and the match ends. And in a YouTube video, this happened after the show went off the air, Ava tells the referee, in the case of a double pin, the champion retains the title. You have to beat the champion by pinfall or submission. If there's a draw, disqualification, count out, the champion obviously is going to keep their title. And Eddy Thorpe is pissed. Eddy Thorpe starts yelling right in Ava's face. He gets right in Ava's face. So once again, Shawn Michaels comes out from gorilla position, and he tells Eddy Thorpe to back off. This time, Eddy pushes Shawn. Eddy Thorpe pushes Shawn Michaels. The title of the YouTube video is something to the effect of Eddy Thorpe shoves Shawn Michaels. Trick Williams gets him from behind, gets his revenge, puts Eddy Thorpe down, but people start chanting HBK, HBK. We've now seen physicality on both sides. We've seen physicality from Shawn Michaels to Eddy. We've seen physicality from Eddy Thorpe to Shawn. We've heard the crowd chanting. We've seen this YouTube video come out. What are we doing? Is Shawn Michaels going to wrestle again? Because if it's Eddy Thorpe versus Shawn Michaels, I'm in. If somehow you can find a tag team partner for Eddy Thorpe, maybe a Ridge Holland, and you do, or even a All Ego. All Ego is having a hell of an arc. The way All Ego put Javon Evans in the dirt. Maybe it's All Ego teaming with Eddy Thorpe versus Shawn Michaels and Trick Williams. Maybe it's Ridge Holland and Eddy Thorpe versus Shawn Michaels and Trick Williams. However you want to do it. I'm okay with a tag match too, if that's the best, you know. Because, by the way, Trick Williams getting to be tag team partners with Shawn Michaels. I would call Trick Williams the Triple H, not the Marty Jannetty. It's just probably a better spot to be in. But, yeah, either way, if you can figure this out, I mean, I only see upside. I don't think Shawn should do this every year. I think this being a one-off, you can tell a hell of a story. You can build up to, he's not really going to do it. He's not really going to do it. You can have Shawn going around doing interviews going like, no, I'm never going to wrestle. But, yeah, there have been problems. And get it to the point where he goes, all right, screw it. I'm wrestling. You sell a lot of tickets. You get a lot of eyeballs on the product. The build-up, you'll get a lot of eyeballs on television. Then you do the PLE on Peacock. They'll be happy. I mean, it seems like winning across the board. See a triumphant return of Shawn Michaels. Now, if it's a singles match, it would be a bummer because Shawn Michaels kind of has to lose. But if it's a tag match, Shawn can win. Trick Williams can get the pin. They can play the Heartbreak Kids music to send them out and then have that mold into whoop that trick. And Shawn can kind of really like put it all on Trick Williams then while giving a spotlight to the heels as well. I think a tag match is probably a win across the board, but man, a singles match would be great too. Look, I'm wildly speculating. I have no idea. But can you imagine? Can you imagine if 2025 gives us a Shawn Michaels match in NXT? I'm probably putting the cart way in front of the horse. It's just what I'm reading into as I watch the show. It's just what I want. It's what I want to see. And that's what we talk about.